We are live. Excellent. Thank you everyone for coming. It's a 6 o'clock on a Wednesday, a lovely Wednesday evening before the storms if you live here in the Bay Area. I'm joined by Raja, if you'd like to
Hi.
introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Raja. I'm a professor of astronomy and astrophysics here at UC Santa Cruz, and I'm the faculty director of the science internship program.
Excellent. And my name is Anand Lalaria. I am the operations coordinator for the science internship program. We are very excited about SIP 2023. Our application opened last week and it's been great so far. We have 3 more weeks, so please continue your application, start a new application if you haven't started it yet, and we'll be going through the application today collectively. So if you'd like to join us, you can fill out your application in real time. If you'd like to watch me fill out the application, this will be the session for it. We can start talking a little bit about SIP, and then we'll head into the application. So we did introductions, very nice. For today, this is the first application workshop. We had the previous 4 sessions were info and Q&A sessions. We will go slightly into detail here. If you'd like to watch the recordings, please check them out on the YouTube channel. There are great Q&A sessions at the end, and we'll have a Q&A session today as well. So feel free to, if you have a question, ask it in the chat, ask it to everyone. We could just ask them right when you have the question. You don't have to wait till the end. And if you want to speak up, you can interrupt me anytime. But quick housekeeping for this call. This is being recorded. Please mute your microphones. We did our introductions. There will be time for questions at the end. And what will we cover? What is the SIP program, intern application, information about that, and then going through the intern application. What is the timeline, what to expect, and then again, Q&A session. So let's get to it. What is SIP? SIP is a 10-week research internship program for high school students, predominantly in STEM fields, as well as social sciences and arts. We are a STEAM program. We have projects that are outside of STEM subjects as well. Students work with UCSC PhD professors. Interns will work with UCSC PhD students, professors, and post-PhD researchers, and they will provide one-on-one mentoring of these high school students in small groups. These research projects are real and they are not made up just for the high school students. Instead, students are inserted into existing research projects currently happening at UCSC. All right, that was just a little bit about SIP. Let's get into the application. So let me pull that up. In the chat, I've put the link to our website. So please feel free to click on that. Here we are. This is our home page, the Science Internship Program. You'll see this bar, a lot of information about mission core values, the history, creating equity in STEAM. That's our umbrella program that SIP sits underneath. About UC Santa Cruz, more information about the staff, testimonials from students from years past. This is the best part of the website: program details, application process, FAQs. We have specific FAQs for interns, specific FAQs for parents, and specific FAQs for mentors, applicants, information about COVID. We have campus housing, information about campus housing, transportation, the events calendar. It is very basic right now, just the start and end of the program, but we will fill it out so you can see a day-to-day basis of the key events and more information. This is the best place to see what is happening at SIP on every specific day. Past research projects. This is a great way to see what's been done in the past. These are the final recordings of each presentation project that groups have submitted in the past. Oh no, this is information about projects and past research projects. Recordings are in the presentation day videos tab, and you can see them from years past. You click on it. They are password protected, so if you'd like to see, just email us at our SIP email, and then we'll happily share the link with you. Okay, but Again, we have more information, gallery news for alumni, recent research projects, information about 2023 research projects, and this is a mentor application if you're a mentor. But 2023 research projects, we are happy to announce that 45 research projects have been posted online. Mentors have a different timeline than interns for their application, so we are posting them and vetting them and getting them ready on a rolling basis. When we receive them, they go through our process. But you can check out, we have an anthropology project. We have two. An AAI project. An art project. Very nice. A lot of astronomy and astrophysics projects. Yes, just more. You can see more information here. But again, you see the title, you see the mentor, you'll see the faculty contact, location, 100% remote online, the number of interns for this project, project description, the tasks they will do, and required skills, and a quick link to more information that you can find. Okay. I've got 2 questions. Yes. We'll answer. Please, someone raise their hand. Please ask your question.
Hi, my name is Anuhea, and I have a quick question on this portion here.
Yes.
We're actually stuck on step 3 in our application, and
Okay.
there is a drop down of all when we go into the subject research projects here.
Yeah.
Some of the subjects don't have that drop down detailed information. For instance, environmental science or ocean science. We're looking at that
Oh,
last night, and there
okay.
was no description, so I was wondering if it's not offered, but it's in the
Oh, yeah, I can answer that. It means the projects are coming. They haven't been posted yet. Mentors, as Anand
Yes.
mentioned, mentors are still submitting projects. We expect to have projects in environmental science. They just haven't been submitted by mentors yet. They haven't been posted yet for that reason.
I see, but I see that it's posted now, so I answered my own question with you.
Absolutely. That's a really good question. Now, in the last week since the application is open, we've been able to post more projects, but for the entire month of February, we really didn't have anything here. We've been telling people to look at 2022 research projects to get a good gauge. So if you look at 2022, let's look at environmental studies. So we had ENV01 with mentor Nazanin Rizai, causes and impacts of urban sprawl. Yes. And then if we look at ocean sciences projects, we had one, quantifying the social and economic basis of nature-based adaptation solutions. Yeah.
And also in step 3 of the application, it says to pick 3 subjects. Does that mean if their first subject, if they don't get chosen for the first subject, then they'll default to the second or third?
I can answer that. So essentially, in the application, the intern will apply to 2 subject areas, which they will write short essays on. So essay number 1 is subject area number 1 that they're interested in. If they don't get into that, then we'll look at subject area number 2. And if those projects are full, then we'll look at subject area number 3, which they don't write an essay in. But we try to place them and match them into their first priority. But we do look at the second priority too, just because, again, they're in certain areas, there's only one project we only had one project for ocean sciences last year.
And Anand, I have just another take on that, which is sometimes if a student says, my favorite subject is environmental studies, just as an example, there is another subject area called ecology and evolutionary biology that's very closely aligned with that. Or there's a third subject area called microbiology and environmental toxicology that's also tied to that. So sometimes, even if the student hasn't requested it, we can see that there are different subject areas that are very close to each other. And so we look into that as well.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yes. And a great thing to look at is also the project descriptions, because just the subject area is so broad. So certain projects can be more similar to something that the intern will write about. And if we see that interest and the alignment, we'll look at that and connect the two dots from there. I hope that answers your question as well, Dorothy. Okay, let's
Hi.
continue. Oh, yes.
I have a follow-up question.
Mhm.
So how would you guys select the individual student for a specific category of the projects? For example, if I apply for computational media, and there are many more people applying for the same subject or same project, how will you choose? Is there any specific criteria for selection specific project?
Excellent question. Raja, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, I can absolutely take that. That's a great question. You know, we certainly put a lot of emphasis on the student essay and the teacher recommendation. Those are the main criteria through which we try to, unfortunately, it's a competitive process, so we're trying to decide which student would be the best fit. So those are two of the main criteria we look at. We ask students to submit a transcript and a GPA, and we look at that too. But the main thing we look at is really the student's own words and the teacher's words about the student. Again, we are, computational media is a great example where computer science, computer engineering is a closely allied area. So we can't find a fit in one area. We try to. The reality of it is, if I just go by last year's numbers, last year there were 1,395 applicants, and we ultimately made offers to 392 students. So about 30% of those who applied got an offer from us, almost a little less than 30%, because if it were 1,300 and 30%, that would be 390. We made 392 offers out of 1,395 applicants. So it's not single-digit percentages, like when you're applying to college and you're trying to get into Stanford and Harvard, those colleges have very low percentages. So we're not single digits, but we are sort of not exactly 30%, but we're between 25 and 30%. Now, that's the reality. Pointed out, there are certain subjects that are more heavily oversubscribed than others. Computer science, a lot of students ask for it, but we also have a lot of opportunities, a lot of project slots in computer science, computer engineering, computational media. Biology tends to be very oversubscribed. A lot of people ask for that subject, way more than we have slots available. We have a lot of slots in psychology. If students are interested in that, that tends to be oversubscribed, but not as heavily oversubscribed as some of the other areas. Art is another subject area that has been rapidly growing, so far it hasn't been as heavily oversubscribed as some of the other topics. So I hope that starts to answer your question a little bit. We are looking for signs of maturity in the student essay from the teacher recommendation. Maturity, I mean having the student having a good perspective about open-ended research and the topic they're interested in, those things. I'll hand it back to Anand.
Absolutely. Perfect. Great question. Also, please, if you have questions, just ask them to everyone. It's easier. We have Terry, who's been a SIP intern before, that has great answers and insight and does a wonderful job as always. And then Roger can see them as well. Financial aid, we'll fill out the financial aid application alongside when we fill out the intern application. So we'll just go through that then. And then there's a question, do you prefer STEM teacher recommendations, or would a history teacher recommendation also hold equal weightage? Roger, would you like to speak specifically to that?
That depends a lot on what subject the student is applying to. If the student is applying to a topic, I mean, if their top choice is something like psychology, sociology, Latin American, Latino studies, if it's in the area of anthropology, if it's that style of project that the students first choice subject is, then I would say a letter from a history teacher is more relevant than that from a science teacher. If, on the other hand, the student is applying for a more traditional STEM subject like physics or chemistry or biology, then it may make sense to get a letter from a STEM teacher. It really depends on the student's interest, subject area of interest, primary, primary, and secondary.
Absolutely. Okay. Is it environmental science or ecology? It is, I think it's environmental science.
There are two separate subject areas. There's environmental studies as ENV, one subject area, and ecology and evolutionary biology is an entirely different subject area. They have a lot in
EEB,
common.
Yeah,
EEB is a second subject area. They have a lot in common in that ecology deals with the environment. And MET, microbiology and environmental toxicology, is another area that another subject area that deals with the environment.
Yes.
All of them have the letter E in them. Sorry. I was just going to say all of them have the letter E in them, and E for environment and all of them.
No worries. Also, I just wanted to say, yeah.
MET. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, this was just off a private question, just for recommendations. We try to take a holistic approach at looking at the application. So we wouldn't solely factor it on one application or one letter of recommendation. So if you feel like you'll have a stronger recommendation coming from one teacher than a certain science teacher, then if that's what you want to do, that's what you should do. Okay, great, Terry. But let's carry on. Let's get started. It is 6:22. So if you want to apply, click right here. On the homepage, a bunch of buttons, the same thing you saw in program details. You see FAQs, campus housing, transportation, past research projects, 2023 research projects. The same thing you see up here. And then this is just some helpful language, hybrid program, speaking about in-person, on-campus housing is available, and then key dates that you want to look forward to. So SIP 2023 applications. Applying to SIP. This is the 2023 application portal. Terry, you got that question? You can now apply for admission to SIP 2023. The application is open. Hooray. It's been 1 week. It's been a great week. We've gotten a lot of applications that have come through, and we have 3 more weeks. So please take your time. You still have time, but continue working on your application. Try to get them done as soon as possible. And please make sure to submit your application by 5 p.m. on March 31st, 2023. We will send out the first round of admissions on April 28th, 2023, which is also a Friday. So before you click the apply here button, these are the steps to application. The first step, complete the application for admission. And step number 2 is pay the application fee. And then step number 3, follow up with your teacher for your teacher reference. Eligibility, this is key language. Students must be 14 years of age on the start date of the program. Again, more language about the hybrid program. So there's an in-person, on-campus offering. You can participate fully remotely or a combination of the two. And then again, key dates, program costs, and selection criteria. But let's get into the application. So when you click on that link, this is the application portal. It is through RegPack. We will create an account. We'll create an account. If you've already created an account, you can log in. But let's go through here. Anand Singh, email, alaria@gmail.com. Password. I'm going to keep this one on the down low just for security. But please create a password, write it down, make sure you remember it. And if you do forget it, then you can reset it. Oh no. Whoa. Let's see if this works. There we go. So my account has been created. Part 1, applicant information. Red circles note mandatory fields. Use the progress bar above to track your progress. View or navigate to other forms. So you'll see there are 4 parts to the application. Part 1 is the applicant information. Part 2, academic record and reference. Part 3, schedule, skills, and essays, and Part 4, certification. Very nice, very nice. Yep. If you have access to your school email, please feel free to use your school email. But if you feel more, if it works better for you to use a personal email or your student's personal email, please go forward with that. Okay. But thank you for your interest in attending the Science Internship Program. Please read the instructions below carefully and complete each section of the application to the best of your ability. Once you are completely finished with your application, please click the submit button at the bottom part of part 4. Just more language, deadline.
Anand, I just wanted to point something out. You mentioned the parts to the application. If you specify in part 1, I think, is it in part 1 or part 2? If you specify that you wish to apply for financial aid, then you'll have to fill out an extra form, a separate form.
Which is included in this portal.
Which is included in the portal.
Yeah.
It doesn't take you anywhere else. But just remember that depending on your answer to that question, if you say, no, I don't wish to apply for financial aid, then you won't be asked to fill out that extra form.
Yes, absolutely. Ask up that. Will there be different fees or in-person versus 100% remote project? I believe 100% remote should be lower in price as they don't need any accommodation. Yes. So if you look at the website, you see that if you choose to participate in person, there is a fee for in-person housing. If there's a five-day fee, there is a 7-day fee. This will cover dorms and food costs. And if you are participating fully remotely, you would just pay the tuition fees and you don't have to worry about the in-person fees. Good question. So I'm just gonna half go through the chat and half fill this out in real time. So 1, 2, 3. Sesame Street. City. Mountain View. Thank you, Terry, for helping out in the chat. That's not correct. Yes.
So there was something about there was some confusion about what hybrid means. Feel free to ask that, unmute and ask that, and we'll do our best to answer.
Yes. And please use real information. I'm just doing this for the presentation. This is your CAS ID, California Statewide Student Identifier Number if you're a California student. Let's come up with 10 numbers. I'm a rising sophomore. As of spring 2023, yes. So I'm a freshman now. 14, date of birth. Thank you, Terry, for that. So just parent information. Very nice. Add another parent and guardian. I will not for this purpose, but if you would like to, please do. Gender identity, male, personal pronouns, he, him, his, they, himself, ethnicity. I will do including Indian subcontinent. Very nice. If you plan to attend college or university, yes, 1st Gen. And are you affiliated with any of our partner programs? We will confirm those listed with the affiliate. Check all partner affiliations that apply. So if you see your school listed here, they are an official partner of SIP. So please look through this list, maybe look through it twice, and then select the one. I will select ACES. And if you are not, that's completely fine. You do not have to be part of a partner.
And
Are you
then,
returning? Yes, sir.
Someone wants to know if the CASSID is a mandatory field.
It is.
I don't think it's mandatory because if you're not in a California school, you won't have that. And I don't know, Red,
Oh,
isn't
wow.
that a California school ID?
Oh, wow. That makes a lot of
Oh.
sense. That's something that we did not take into account. Okay. So
Oh, wait,
if
no,
you're in
it says NA though. Enter NA if you do not have one
Oh,
or are not a
Yeah.
California student.
And that's right. And I think as someone mentioned in the chat, independent schools, homeschool students, they're all eligible to apply, but they don't have CAS IDs. Yes,
yes.
homeschool students are eligible to apply. We've had a few homeschool students in the program over the years.
Okay, perfect.
Inputting NA does work.
Okay, perfect. That was a group effort. Good job, everyone. Okay, so we picked our partner institution. I'm not a returning SIP student. Terry, you are. Have any of your siblings participated in SIP? Do we have any siblings? Put a thumbs up in the chat, but I do not. How did you hear about SIP? The SIP website. If you are, this is the financial aid question. If you will be applying for need-based financial aid for help in fully or partially covering the $4,000 SIP tuition, click yes here, and a financial aid form will be added to your application. Yes, we will be filling out the financial aid app. If you need assistance in covering the $60 SIP application fee, please email us at ucsc-sip@ucsc.edu and just kind of explain, and we'll work with you to waive that. The financial aid application.
Sorry, Anand. I was just going to say that I think we need to change the wording there. The financial aid covers not more than just the $4,000. It covers
Everything.
optional housing and. Yeah, I think we should. This is a leftover from our virtual year when we didn't housing and shuttle fees. So I think
Definitely.
we need to change. We were trying to separate the $4,000 from $50 application fee, trying to separate those two things. But I think we need to make some modification to the wording.
Absolutely. So if you think about it, if you apply for need-based financial aid and you are fully approved, that will cover everything in terms of payments for SIP 2023. So you have not completed what have I not completed? Parent one street address. Here we go. Okay. Save and continue to part 2.
Anand, I'm going to switch from my phone to my laptop. I'll be back.
Okay, for sure. So part 2, academic record and reference. Again, red circles note mandatory fields. Check the progress bar. So we're 20% through. In this section, you will be asked about your grades and the contact information for the reference you have asked to submit a letter of recommendation on your behalf. Please upload your unofficial transcript or grade report in the space provided. If you are providing multiple reports, such as middle school or high school, please combine the reports into one document. Wow. You must have one reference complete, a recommendation letter for your application to be considered complete. In this form, we'll see that we'll input their email and they will be sent a separate email where they will log into RegPack and continue the thread where they upload the letter of recommendation, and that will close that. That your reference must be a STEM or STEAM or social sciences teacher, depending on the subject area that you're applying to, or a mentor who has taught you, has knowledge of your ability, enthusiasm, or aptitude for the subject areas you're applying to. Alan Wu, thank you, Terry. Should we use weighted GPA or non-weighted GPA to enter? Non-weighted, thank you.
And then I think someone has a question about the in-person option. Does half remote, half in person mean 100% in person?
Yes. So if the project is listed 100% in person, then it's okay if the mentor is in person and the intern is participating remotely for half the course of SIP. Okay, good question.
I think they were asking if like an 100% in-person option is available because the application only says either, or like the website actually only says fully remote or half in remote, half in person.
Where does it say that on the website? Okay, let's check this out. Program details, application process. In-person on-campus housing. Yeah. So just to answer the question, 100% in person is available. If you want to be in person 100% of the time, you just say that. If you want to be, you kind of schedule your availability. If you want to be remote for a certain amount of weeks, then you just say those weeks. The bolded text, the SIP 2023 will be a hybrid program. On the application, I believe there is an option to select fully in person. We'll get to that in the application, right? Let's point that out. Let's get to that right now. Okay. Is that, have you seen that? Is that in part 2 or part 3?
Oh, I'm not sure.
It's gonna be in part 3.
Part 3? Okay. So we'll get to that. All right. GPA 4.0, of course. You just have to, I don't have a transcript, so I will just upload a flyer to get there. Academic reference. I'm going to put Raja as mine. Reference co.org. Reference phone. We'll make up a number. Send recommendation form to reference now. Yes. Perfect. Part 2, complete. Part 3, schedule, skills, and essays. Schedule, makes sense. This section requires information about your availability this summer and personal statements about your interest in STEM and STEAM or social sciences research. This is where we get to learn all about you. It is best to draft the short essay responses separately and then copy and paste them into the responses spaces in this form, as this form will time out. So essentially, the information in this saves, except if you just have words here, they might not fully save. So if you're in the middle and you have half your essay complete, I would imagine if you click save, it should save, but just to be safe, draft it on another document editor, Microsoft Word, Google Docs, and you should be good to go. Okay, availability. Scheduling notes. During the research prep weeks, these are from June 12th to June 23rd. These are the first 2 weeks of SIP. All interns will be self-directed with varying schedules depending on their project. And completing activities such as the online Python and research, tutorial, and background reading. So this is when mentors will reach out to their interns for their project. They'll introduce themselves. They'll have a couple Zoom sessions where they'll get to learn, meet their fellow interns. They will learn more about their project, get to get some background information. If there's any prep material that their mentor suggests or would like to have the interns do, they will catch up. So when academic research starts, they are fully ready to go. Okay. All interns, online, residential, and commuter interns are strongly encouraged to attend a hybrid program kickoff on Sunday, June 25th, 2023, and the vitally important presentation day on Saturday, August 19th, 2023. Interns will be off on June 19th, 2023, and on 4th of July. That is Tuesday, July 4th, 2023. So in the third part of this application, please indicate your plans below as they are currently known for the 8-week active research segment of the program. So the first 2 weeks, again, they're research prep weeks. These are remote, and then we'll go through 8 weeks. On equals available and plan to participate in the internship. Off is unavailable and you cannot. If you plan to work remotely on any given week, whether you are online or in-person intern, please select remote for your availability. Please be sure to indicate your primary modality preference in the first question of this section. Please note that there is a 6-week attendance requirement. So out of the 8 weeks, you want to make sure that you can dedicate 6 weeks to SIP and you are fully there. All right, first question. Please indicate your primary modality preference: 100% online, in-person, or hybrid. Those who opt to attend in person will have the opportunity to work some weeks remotely in coordination with the mentor. Those who opt to work 100% online will be placed in a project that is offered 100% online so that full research participation is possible. I plan to participate in person and on campus. I plan to participate hybrid on campus and online. So this would be the one where you want to be in person and you can select a certain schedule of hybrid weeks as well. This is fully remotely. This is 100% in person. Okay, perfect. It is, I have to be frank, this is very confusing, but yes. Week 1, June 26th to June 30th. Do your best. This isn't like the end all be all. If weeks change, just communicate that with your mentor. It's best to do that as early as possible, but also things do happen last minute. So this will not be the document that we check off and this is the attendance sheet, but just try to do your best as you see your plans for the summer now. The website meant the only option was either hybrid or fully remote. No. Yeah. So you could be in person, you could be fully remote, or you could be a combination of the two. That's the best way to put it. So week 1, I plan to be there. Hi, Eleanor. Long time no see at all. Eleanor is from Vancouver. Go Canada. Okay. And she was a SIP intern last year. That's how we know each other. Okay. Week 1, I'll be online. Week 2, I'll be online. Actually, this is 4th of July weekend. I'll be remote because I want to go home, spend some time with the family, do some fireworks. I'll be back for week 3, be back for week 4, be back for week 5, be back for week 6. My school will start on August 10th. So if your school starts before SIP ends, you can complete the end of SIP remotely. And we will adjust the hours. We will work with your mentor. We'll let them know as early as possible. So they'll taper off the workload just to make sure it fits in your school schedule. And the last week of SIP is the prep week, the final presentation day prep week, where academic research is kind of coming to an end and interns are spending their time creating their presentations, practicing them, going through all their data, but making sure that the presentation is ready for the final presentation day, which is on Saturday. I will be remote here as well. Okay, skills. Specify any skills and experience you already have. I have computer programming experience. I've done lab work before. I've taken a stats class as a 9th grader. Yes, but I haven't done any field work, so I'll keep that unchecked. Being skilled in computer programming means that you are comfortable writing computer programs. Please be honest. This does become an issue if some projects are a little bit more advanced, and if you don't feel like you're comfortable, then maybe don't check that off. And if you still want to do a CC project, there are certain projects where mentors will guide you. There's more of a learning curve as opposed to being asked to do a little bit more. All interns will do a Python and research training module in the research prep week. So that's a great resource to use and learn Python. Are there any lab activities? So it depends on the project. Some projects will take place in labs and there will be lab activities. What is fieldwork? That's a good question. Fieldwork, that pertains to specific subject areas. Raja, if you want to speak more about that, but if not, Raja's not.
I don't think he's back.
What a guy. Okay, I would imagine if you are in a project, let's say 2023 research projects. If you are in a subject area that you would primarily be doing research outside, let's say ecology and evolutionary biology, if you've done something where you've collected samples, collected data outside, that's what field work would be. Okay. All right. List your specific programming experience, Python. Please specify any skills you would like to acquire and improve. Computer programming, field work. I'm not going to be doing any lab work. I'll be applying for a CSE project, maybe statistical data analysis. Is there any additional information you'd like us to have about the skills you possess, skills that you seek to improve, or other aspects of your skill set? Please share that here. This is not a mandatory question. I will not write anything for this, but if you would like to share something, more skills that aren't in these this is not something that's not listed here and you would like to speak about, leadership, something you've done in the past, something you're interested in, that would be a great place to put it. Okay, subject area interest. So now we've gotten to the best part of the application, actually selecting what you want to do over the summer. So you must select at least one subject area to apply to. You may apply to up to 2 subject areas and have the opportunity to indicate an additional subject area where you would not write an essay. But if you have certain segments of your essay, if let's say you have a really good application and you stand out and we can't place you in your first subject area, we can't place you in your second subject area, but there's a project that is similar to something you're interested in and you seem like a good fit and there is a slot there, then we will place you into your third subject. But again, please select your #1 area of research interest. This selection will help you determine a suitable project for you. You can find more information about the SIP 2023 research project. So this is a great time to go to the tab, check out a project. I'm very interested in computer science and computer engineering projects. So I will look as of right now. If there's a project listed and you love it, maybe speak more about that. But if you are just interested in the subject, then speak about the subject, speak about what you've done in the past, speak about why you want to study CSE. Is this something you want to do in college? Because again, some subject areas don't have anything like ocean sciences, but looking at the CSE projects, what do we have as of right now? We have CSE 01, Internet Protocol Design, Development of Shortest Path Loop-Free Routing Protocol, Design and Simulation. Okay. Text generation, neural networks. Wow, these are really good. Mentor, he's done a good job in the past. And then implementing a neural network from scratch. Wow. Okay. I don't know how to decide. They're just so good. Ooh, origami robots, modeling and simulation. Okay, I'm just going to select CSE, computer science and engineering. And this is where I would create a short essay. Please respond directly, succinctly, maximum 200 words. I thought it was 250 words. Okay, 200 words. I'm just going to put test app because I'm not applying for SIP. This is something you do. Please have fun with it. Please try your best. This is important, but this is not the end all be all. So, but please do your best. And this is subject area #2. Let's see what else we have. Let's just refresh this page. If I wasn't placed in CSE, what would I want to do? This is a great opportunity to try something new. I've always been interested in psychology. Okay, a couple projects that are up: perpetual studies and emotion recognition individuals, autistic traits, masculinity socialization of young men participating in high school football. That sounds pretty interesting. Okay, I'll select psychology. Test app. Okay, and then please select any other field. Great. Let's do art. There's going to be a really fun art project that Raja will actually lead this year. So if you'd like to be a part of that. This is the personal statement. This is the last essay. This is the longer question, but I'll get to the chat Q&A right after this. So personal statement. As a SIP intern, you will be conducting and contributing to cutting edge research. This process is inherently fraught with challenges that may ultimately lead to null results. What do you hope to gain by participating in research if selected as a SIP intern? What experiences, skills, and/or resources do you have to overcome these potential challenges? Maximum 500 words. So this is the last essay. Take your time. Really try to do your best here. This is important. This is not, again, this is not the only thing that matters, but it does matter. So do your best. For this part, I'm just going to do test up. Save and continue to part 4. And let's get to some questions. All right, Roger, you've been answering some questions. Nice. Okay, cool. That was Griffin's question. Parent here, not in CA. What are the current COVID-19 booster requirements for in-person attendance? Great question. So,
Anand, I'm trying to answer that right now in the chat.
okay, I'll let you do that, Raja. Part 4, certification. Before submitting this section, please remember, any questions, please check out our research pages, FAQ area. And if you experience any technological problems or need any accommodations, please email us. Again, the deadline, and then intern application and transcript is submitted through this portal. And then one recommendation. This is just a recap. Okay, application is not complete until this form is submitted. Please certify that your application submission is your own work and that you are applying with a full understanding of the program and application deadlines after having reviewed the intern FAQs and applicant FAQs. So these are hyperlinked. This is very helpful. It's good to check them out. Okay, so these e-signatures indicate that SIP has permission to review your unofficial transcripts, your application, and all data contained here, and your recommendations to make a determination on your suitability to the SIP program. So yes, my applications, as everyone saw, were my own work, and the essays were my own work. The test app, beautifully said. I reviewed the SIP intern FAQs. I have read them. I've actually helped create the pages, but please do check out the FAQs just because they are very important. Communication, demeanor, transportation. Can interns use the UCSC gym? Is it possible for SIP interns to drive and from campus?
Drive to and from.
Drive to and from campus. Okay. SIP has permission to review all of my application materials and data. I understand that all application materials must be received by SIP by Friday, March 31st, 2023 at 5 p.m. PDT, and that there are no appeals for late submissions, will be approved. I agree to this above, and I'm ready to submit my application. Okay.
Anand, one quick thing. There's an important set of questions about COVID-19 right now. My understanding is right now there are no COVID-19 vaccination or testing requirements for students at UCSC. Is that, do you know for certain if that's correct?
They haven't been updated. I remember at the beginning of the school year, everyone had to show their 2 shots plus 1 booster, but this was fall 2023.
Okay.
I know that at UC Berkeley, they are going through conversations about what the policy is going to be going forward. So that will reflect to all UCs. But in my opinion, or what I've talked to Sierra about is there's not going to be any boosters that are required. It's just going to be the 2 shots.
Okay.
And
Original
if they are
shots.
on campus, there will be testing available and everyone will be tested. But in terms of vaccination and what's required, it's just the first 2 shots.
Got it. Thank you.
And also this is when the policy is passed, just because we follow UC Santa Cruz policy and they will have a policy for all their summer programs, we will update the website and make sure everyone knows and if they accept it, Nice. I agree. Okay. Are you sure You agree with these terms and conditions, accept. Okay. This is the financial aid application. So if you selected, yes, I want to apply to financial aid on the first page, then the application is not complete and you have one additional step. So we're 80% of the way there. SIP strives to provide complete financial support for admitted interns so that no one is faced with opting out of a SIP opportunity due to financial constraints. Interns who qualify will be granted a financial aid package covering, depending on the qualification, either 25%, 50%, 75%, or 100% of their program fees and any transportation, room, and board expenses for attending the program. So Raja, that's the correct statement, and that should be the statement on the first page.
I completely agree. Yeah.
Interns with the most need will be considered for a stipend to offset hidden costs of attendance, such as giving up their work hours that they otherwise would be working over the summer to support their family in order to attend SIP. So we will take that into consideration. This is something that we've been working on for a very long time and we'll do our best. But please know that we're trying to make sure that the financial burden is not what derails students from their SIP opportunity. Please complete each section of this application to the best of your ability. On this form, you must upload a copy of your 2022 federal tax forms. The 2021 form will be accepted if your 2022 form is not yet filed. Your financial aid application is not complete until we receive those documents. Please black out all social security numbers and do not include schedules. If you do not file taxes, please provide appropriate income documentation such as TANF. International students, this is a very good question for all international students. Very important part for international students. They should submit whatever form is used for the proof of income or reporting income in their country, along with a note on a conversion factor into USD. The intern's name should be visible on the form, but any personal identifying number such as SSN should be blacked out. Again, online resources, SIP website, frequently asked questions, intern frequently asked questions. There is some language about financial aid there. If you have any questions not answered, please feel free to email us and we will do our best to get you the correct answer there. So adjusted gross income, AGI of your household, US dollar equivalent. I was a one-parent household. Let's just put $65,000 for that salary. And again, please look at the tax return. Make sure you match all the numbers. All the information is accurate. I don't have any tax returns that I'm going to be really using for this application, so I'm just making the numbers out of thin air. But please do it off those numbers. There's just the two of us, father and I. If you have any extenuating circumstances that increase your need for financial aid, for example, recent change, recent layoff, something that's happened, please express that here. And this is what we'll be looking at. So we'll just do test app for this part. Then please upload your 2022 tax form or other appropriate documentation. If you have multiple documents, please try to consolidate into one. So again, I'll just do a PDF that I have on hand. And then boom, the financial aid segment of this application is done. In fact, my application 100% done. So this is a dashboard. It provides an overview of your entire account. The progress bar, as we see, is 100%. Every single part is a green circle. And we saw it throughout the application. When it wasn't filled out and it was mandatory, it was a red circle. So this is an opportunity where you can pat yourself on the back once you've filled out the application, both students and parents. And this has been the 2023 intern application.
So there's a very good question, Anand, about what does it mean when an intern, or when an applicant selects that they wish to participate in hybrid mode? Will they be placed in, what kind of projects will they be placed in? Will they only be, I'm just reading the question exactly. Will they only be matched to hybrid projects to the extent possible? One of the questions we received recently, for example, from one of the partner organizations SIP works with, said, what if a student wants to get in-person dorm experience, even though they're working on an online project? Would you allow that? And the general rule has been, yes, we've been flexible. If a student wants to have on-campus experience, even though it's an online project, if the mentor's on campus and they're willing to tweak the project so that some portion of the project is conducted in person, that's one possibility. Even if that's not possible, if the intern wants to get dorm experience and be part of the in-person cohort on campus, there are lots of benefits to that. Could they still take part in an online project? Yes, absolutely. We would put them, we'd make sure they're not alone. They're working with a group of students. They might be connecting to their mentor online, but they'd be doing this from the UCSC campus. So we're going to try and be as flexible as possible. It's the bottom line.
Yes. Okay. So was that Andra's question?
No, it was actually Ellen's question earlier.
Oh, okay. That kind of answers the first one though, but the deciding factor for matching is not the physical presence. No, that's the answer. No.
And another question is, if I'm, suppose a person is picking a particular topic, computational media and art, culture, and STEM as their second choice, should it be a science, math, or history teacher for the recommendation? Again, coming back to something Anand said, it should be the teacher that writes you the strongest recommendation, or the teacher you feel you would get the strongest recommendation from. The subject isn't as important as the, how glowing the recommendation is.
Yeah. Great question, Griffin. So how would you specify that if you're really excited about an online only project and you'd like to be in person?
There isn't a specific thing on the form. If a student signs up for an online project, but they also really want to be there in person, this is something you talk to us after you're accepted into the program.
Okay. So it is 7 o'clock. Let's run through the payment portal real quick. So after you've finished your application in RegPack, this is your application to apply. Then we have the Iris login. This is where you will pay the $60 application fee. So access to the Iris payment portal by clicking on the payment portal button, and you can set up an account here to pay the $60 application fee. It is an extra step. They do not talk to each other. So please.
And we apologize for that. I mean, it's two
Yes.
separate systems. UCSC wants it that way. It's a
Yes.
separate login, mind you. The login you use to log into the application versus the Iris system that collects payments, and
Yes.
two entirely separate logins.
Yes, but you can register again using the same credentials. So don't feel the need to use a parent's email, a separate personal email. Please, to make it as easy as possible, because you will be logging in again. If you would like to use the same password, same email, please go ahead and do that.
It's two entirely different systems. Yes, as Anand said, you
Yes.
can use the same email address, same password, but it doesn't have to be the same.
Yeah.
It's convenient if it is.
And for the Iris payment portal, if you have applied in previous years, the system may recognize your email address. So if you cannot recall, or if you feel like you've done this before, click forgot password and try to reset your password. The application fee is a non-refundable fee of $60 and is required for your application to be considered complete and reviewed for admission. So if you need financial support, please email us at SIP and we will do our best to work with you.
And just to be clear, if you need financial support to cover that $60 application fee, there's sort of two kinds of financial support. There's, in this case, in this particular bullet that Anand is highlighting, we're talking about if the $60 will present a hardship, contact us, we'll give you an application fee waiver.
Yes,
This is
just briefly
separate
describe what's
from,
going on and just let us know.
which is separate from an application for financial aid, which would cover your tuition, housing, and meals, and shuttle.
So I don't have an account. This is my first time applying to SIP, so I will sign up. I will use the same email address. Confirm that. Oh, wow. We get to see how weak my password was. Wow, it's been great to the entire time. That is so bad. Okay.
Yeah, May, to the extent to which, Eleanor, thank you for answering that. The extent to which each intern's tasks are similar or different varies from project to project. But a very important message for every group of interns working together is it's not a race. It's a collaboration. You're pulling together. And this doesn't mean that each intern does exactly the same thing. Sometimes mentors will assign slightly different tasks to the different interns, depending on their interests, depending on their, their expertise. But in general, it's collaborative work. You're working together on a project.
All right. So my account was created. I got an email to confirm, and now we'll sign in to the Iris account using the credentials I just set up. Very nice. Imagine it does not work. Interesting. Nope. All right, so we're gonna reset our password in real time. Very fun. All right, I'm just gonna do that offline. We had one job to set up a password. Okay.
That's a great example, Terry, that exactly, many projects are coding heavy, different people are, different interns are contributed to different sections of the code, but they all have to work together. I mean, the different pieces of code all have to work together to achieve the whatever the code is trying to do, whatever kind of analysis, data analysis it's trying to do, it has to achieve that. So there's independent work, collaborative work, coordination. This is true for a lot of things we do in life, working in teams. And science certainly is a team sport, not an individual sport, not a sport, but it's a team activity. And the structure of SIP reflects how science gets done on a campus like UCSC. A lot of the work is collaborative. Anand, I'm going to run off soon, but how's your password reset coming along?
Like every password, it's that process. But yes, let's try it out. Let's see if this works. Also, this is a great opportunity to continue asking questions that Raja can answer. They can be about all things SIP, and you can just watch me try to log in to pay.
That's a great
Wow.
example, Eleanor. A great example.
Yep, great example. Okay, so we've got in. Please save the login credentials. I've written them down.
And Eleanor, do I remember correctly that you're based in Canada?
Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver, Canada.
Wow, how did I remember that? Magic. I love Vancouver. I spent a year in Victoria and I have family in Vancouver, so I used to go over to Vancouver a lot from Victoria.
All right. Very nice. Billing address.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there. Hi,
Hey,
Anne.
yeah, Anne, yeah. I just have a question. So my daughter has a special condition. She has a high sensitivity to sound. So I wonder if it would be possible for a student like her to live in a one-person dorm room. If
Yes,
that's not
we've made accommodations like that in the past, and we could certainly do that again.
Absolutely.
okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
And throughout the process, just once you're accepted, just email us, let us know. Let's start the conversation early, and we'll do our best to get what you need situated.
Okay, thank you. And then
Absolutely.
is there any difference in terms of cost? I mean, if there is,
No,
I understand.
no, there isn't.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we filled out personal information, email, and then a billing address. This will just match it to how you're going to pay. Registration review says my name, says my address, 123 Sesame Street, Mountain View, California. So
And-
the shopping.
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to chime in one more thing to Anne. One of the things that we've been told by conference services is that the most of the, they bundle together room and board. So that is the room cost as well as the meals, they're bundled together. And what conference services has told us is most of that cost is for meals. And that's why we don't make a distinction between students living in a single, double, triple. Students are in singles only only in special circumstances, but again, we've had such special circumstances in the past, so we have a precedent.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, so if you have a coupon code, this would be where you apply it. But if you're going to pay, just continue to check out. And then, thank you for your order. Confirmation has been sent to your email address. I just got the email. This is the time. This is what you're paying for, application fee, credit card, and then make a payment.
And if you were to put in the code, it
Mhm.
would actually zero out your balance if you were to put
Mhm.
in the fee waiver code, the application fee waiver code.
Yes. And this is the last step before your payment is complete. So we'll just leave this tutorial here because this is real information. But other than that, that's how you pay for it. And please do please pay your application fee by the same deadline when the SIP application is due, end of March.
And
Yeah.
yes, the question that Ashna has asked, yes, by March 5th, 5 p.m., you expect
March
to
31st.
complete your application, sorry, March, not 5 p.m. on March 31st, end of March,
Yes.
Friday. You're expected to have completed and submitted your application, certified it, and also made the payment.
Yes. Okay. So that was the process.
Anand, my daughter is going to apply for the SIP. However, obviously the credit card will be mine. So
That's no
who
problem.
will? Yeah.
But
So
yeah, we are able to make that connection because what happens is our iris system lists both the person under whose name the credit card is, but the account is connected to the SIP applicant. No problem at all.
okay. So the iris payment account would be my daughter's, right? Not mine. I don't need
Exactly. It'll be connected to her name, her
Okay.
email address, but
Okay.
even though the credit card details are yours.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for
Excellent
asking.
question.
That's a good question.
Again, thank you everyone for being here on a Wednesday evening. It was a great session. If you have any questions, this is the best time to ask them. And if you have follow-up questions that you weren't able to ask here, please email us and we'll do our best to get back to you as quickly as possible.
And we'll be posting a recording of this session as we have
Yes.
for past sessions on our SIP YouTube channel.
Yes, and you can find them on the website as well. But thank you. We're very excited for SIP 2023. The application's been open 1 week. There's been a lot of applications started, a few applications that have also been completed as well. So if you've started, please work on your application, use the time you have, use the weekends, get that in. Absolutely. Thank you for attending.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I believe such instances are covered. The UCSC makes allowances for instances where students are have a certificate showing they're recovered from COVID, but are also are unable to take vaccines for medical reasons.
Yeah.
Admissions are initially there's an initial round of applications. After that, there's rolling beyond that. So, and what I mean by that, yes, I believe we do allow for religious exemption as well. But coming back to your question about admission on a rolling basis, what happens is when we make our first round of admission offers, that's not the final set of admission offers that will go out. We make admission offers that fill whatever slots are available at that time. We're talking about April 28th. New projects come in after that. A few new projects will come in after that during the month of May. And we will fill those on a rolling basis from the waitlist. We will also, on a rolling basis, fill any projects that where we made an offer and the student to whom we made the offer has declined the offer. So there's a rolling component for two reasons, as new projects come in, but also as initial offers get declined. About 20% of our offers get declined every year. I noticed that Anand and I have different virtual backgrounds, but they're both representative of the beautiful UCSC campus that we get to have the privilege of working in. I also noticed many familiar names on the call today. Arya, welcome. I really hope you're applying to SIP this year. I know Anuhea was here earlier, and I'm hoping that Azriel is thinking of applying this year. I don't see Anuhea on the call anymore, but she was on there earlier. Anyway, please let us know if you have questions, even outside the Zoom venue.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anne, for being here. Wonderful.
Wonderful, Arya. This is really good. Astronomy, I assume.
I'm also going to stop the recording now. Just so.
Okay.